Hey guys, sorry, this was just too funny not to document. So I'm sitting here in the garage working on the truck and just doing some tinkering, still messing around with the paint a little bit. And I feel these eyes on me. I feel like somebody's looking at me. And I look out into the street there, and there's like a kid, I guess he's like 13, 14 years old on a mountain bike, and he's just stopped on his bike in front of my house. And he's just staring at me, so I'm like, hi? He's like, hi. I'm like, okay. And I turn around and I start working again, and I turn around, he's still staring at me. And I go, you alright? And he's like, yeah, I was just looking. I go, at the truck? He goes, yeah, do you watch a show called Roadkill? I'm like, gee, is it obvious? I thought it was hilarious. I'm like, you know that show? He's like, yeah, I know that show. I'm like, wow, you're like 13, man. Don't even have a car or anything. I mean, you know, you don't even look the type. I mean, like there's a type, right? But it was just funny. He like literally saw the truck from the street, through all my other vehicles in the driveway, no less. Saw past them and recognized the truck just off like the paint scheme, I guess, and the wheels and shit. And I thought that was hilarious. I don't even have the orange paint on the back, you know, fender yet. I mean, it's all pretty much done except for I had to prime that small section here in the front. Doesn't have the right grill. Doesn't, you know, it's got the push bumpers still on it, obviously. And I haven't painted the rear fender yet. So here, let's take a better shot here. I tried to replicate the paint fade on the primer on the roof too. I'm trying to now I'm just dicking around trying to get it just absolutely perfect, trying to finick and get it as close as I can. Obviously these are the wrong mirrors and it's got drip rails. I know. And those are not brown yet. They're still black, and this is obviously still black. And it's got a different wood bed, and it's not C-knots. I know, little details, but still, I thought it was pretty hilarious. Also, the California plate's blue like the Florida antique plate, so that kind of goes as well. But he must have been riding from this angle here and saw in front of my wife's Jeep and saw the truck, saw the brown fender with the gold pinstripe. Oh, I should point out, I did put the Roadkill sticker on, but the Roadkill sticker was not on the truck when this kid approached me. It was not on there. I was just getting ready to put the Roadkill sticker on the truck. I made that myself, by the way, in case you guys are wondering. I do not know what font it is. I was unable to find anybody that did know what font that was, so I replicated it in a very complicated and lengthy vector trace process that literally took me hours and hours and hours to do to make that. But because you can't get them anywhere. David Freiberger even said in his muscle truck video, they don't make them, they don't sell them. So I had to really make it myself. So in case anybody's going to hit me up asking me what the font is, I do not know. I made it myself. So, but at any rate, just looking on this angle now, I mean, seriously, does that look like I have the muscle truck parked in my garage or what? I know the brown's not, it's, you know, the real brown's more of a root beer brown, and there's more like chipping and stuff in the paint on the fender and stuff, but still, looking at it just at a quick glance, man, I would swear I've got the actual muscle truck in my garage. And if I can get that fender off tomorrow, I spent more time working on the bed floor today, that's why. If I can get this fender off tomorrow and get that, you know, get it primed and get the orange paint laid on there and the gray pinstripe on there, I think we'll have a pretty damn close clone of the truck for what it is, you know. I still have, I still have to do a ton of mechanical work to the truck. I think I mentioned in one of the earlier videos yesterday about, you know, something about the brakes, and I said I was going to tell you about it, and I might have forgotten to. I put new brake pads on the truck because when I redid all the suspension and all that crap, some of the pads fell out, and I guess there's these rubber squeal guard plates that were on the back of the pads that were on it. They were just so dry rotted they fell apart, and then the brakes were squeaking like crazy. So even though there was still a little bit of meat left on the bone on those pads, I ordered new pads from I think it was Nakamoto or something, ceramic pads or whatever. And major issue, I took it to seat the pads, and there was a huge loud metals type clunk that came from the passenger side front wheel, and the wheel violently jerked to the right. I brought the truck back in, I pulled everything apart, checked everything, everything's lubed, the pins for the calipers are all lubed and good, and nothing was loose. The calipers were all tight, everything was tight in a spec, the wheels, you name it. everything. Tie rods are all new. Everything's lubed to spec, everything. There was just no explanation for it. So I started going on a lot of web forums, and they said that a seized caliper can cause it. And I did notice that the calipers were having trouble releasing a little bit. So I guess just by simply just changing the pads, the thickness of the pads changed where the piston was riding on that caliper. And I'm like, all right, so it could be the pins, it could be this, could be that. If I replace the 2 pins on that one caliper, the slide pins, bolts, whatever you want to call them, those are $15 a pop. So now you're at $30. If I try different pads, there's another $35. I'm at $65 now. This and that. I found on eBay 2 brand new factory replacement calipers with all hardware, pins, everything, and pads. The whole deal. All the little hardware, the little clips, retaining clips for the pads, all that shit, for $180 shipped. So that was a no-brainer. And then it was another $40 in brake hoses for both sides, because those hoses were shot. They're all dry rotted and cracked. So those needed to be done anyways. It's hard not to get caught up in the snowball effect, especially now that I've laid the paint job on the truck. The truck's really starting to look the part. I'm starting to get excited now about this deal. I can squint my eyes and almost feel like the real muscle truck sitting in my garage. You get hooked in that thing and go, well, I knew I was going to have to do the brakes eventually. I wasn't planning on doing it now, but if I'm going to do them now, should I do the Brembos? Should I do Wildwood? Should I do this? Should I do that? The cheapest Wildwoods or Brembos, I can't remember which ones that I could find, were going to be like $380 for the calipers and all that crap. And like, you know what? I got to put a motor in this thing yet. I got to do a rear end in this thing yet. There's some big ticket items left to be checked off on this deal. And, the real muscle truck, shit, they were riding on just the front factory discs without even any rear brakes at all for the first few years. So I said, you know what? Let me just put brand new factory replacement calipers. I already got the 1.25 inch, rotors on the front, the heavier duty rotors anyways. Let me throw that on there. I'm going to check the condition of the shoes on the rear drum brakes, get the factory brake system working real good, and that'll be fine. I'm not autocrossing this truck, and even if I did, it's not going to be competitive. Nor am I going to be doing any professional drag racing or anything with it. This is just about me being an idiot and hooning around town and just, getting my thrills off, having a clone of the truck and getting some attention on the streets and screwing with some young punks with some imports and shit. So I don't really need the heavy brakes. I don't have to worry about brake fade and all that crap happening. So I really want to focus on the engine, transmission, rear end right now. The whole drive line needs to be dealt with. I mean, it runs and drives, but it's slow as hell. Peg legger, highway gears, that all needs to be dealt with. I'm going to have to do exhaust. There's just a lot of stuff, other stuff to spend money on at the moment. What else? I cut a little porthole in my bed to access my fuel cell cap. I'm going to have to devise some kind of flip thing. I know I said I was going to make this go up and down, but it proved to be just too much of a project to do that, and it wasn't going to work the way I wanted to because all these bolts and stuff that hold the fenders on, and it was a bunch of little details. So I said, you know what, just cut a small hole, I'll build a small cover plate to go over that, and we're going to be good. This is 3 coats of lacquer, by the way, if you can even see it. But that's where we're at right now, and one last shot of the good side of the truck. Not the good side of the real muscle truck, but for right now, the most accurate side of my truck. There you go. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.